Hi guys. So, if you do not follow me on YouTube, I do a segment called Mommy Moments. So this will or may or may not go on that page. I had to do this early because my daughter is asleep. But I want to say something that is getting on my fucking nerves. And you can take a bunch of different sides to this all you want. But I was postpartum when my daughter turned 6 months. Now she's 7. And I realized a couple of things. One, I wanted to run out of my skin, out of my world. Um, I was depressed and I had a nervous breakdown. And I've had those before. I had one when my mother passed, and that took like 4 years later or something like that. Like it didn't happen immediately. I had anxiety attacks. I had those throughout the stress of processing my mother passed. So I know what it was, and I'm familiar with depression. I've suffered from it on and off my whole life. So I don't hide that fact. I think more people need to talk about it. What pisses me off is now that I've gone through that, when I hear stories about moms who have duct taped their child and thrown them in the back seat of a car to go to Lake Lanier to sit and think. When I hear about moms drowning their babies, all of their kids, or slitting their throats, or putting them in the freezer, things like that, my first mindset goes to postpartum depression. And what we like to say is, oh, well, it usually happens when the baby's little, or no, the kids were like 3 and 5, and sometimes there's usually like a younger child involved, and I don't believe that your hormones snap back as soon as you have a baby. Like, if your hair falls out 3 months later, is it quite possible that your hormones aren't quite the same after carrying and making a life a year later, 2 years later? And once you have these kids back to back, is it possible that you're postpartum for the third child when you weren't for the first two, but now that you're postpartum for the third child, that you're going fucking bananas because you also have two more? And we like to shame women when they're having a tough time so that when they get to a point of having depression or feeling overwhelmed by motherhood or feeling like failures in their life because they're just mothers now because companies in the US don't provide ways to adequately provide daycare, and you be a mom, like you're paying a mortgage to send your kids to daycare, especially if you have more than one. Like for one, it can be as low as like $800 a month. And if you get public assistance, that still doesn't mean anything. All that means is that you don't make enough so that you get public assistance to send your child to daycare to still, so basically you're still paying full price. If you can qualify for discounts on daycare, that you probably are not making enough money. So you're still paying two mortgages or two rents to just send your child to daycare. So what I'm trying to get at overall is that, moms hit a snapping point, whether it's hormonal or whatever it is. This isn't the 1800s or, the AD, whatever. It's not the beginning of time where we don't know what this is. But when it happens, be careful that it's not your mouth that's shaming someone, because you could be the mother and say, oh my God, I can't believe these women are just losing their minds, not taking care of baby. What's the world coming to? So when your daughter goes through it, she doesn't want to come to you and talk to you about shit because you're a judgmental bitch. Okay? If you didn't experience it, it doesn't mean it's not real. And that's the thing that pisses me off, because I didn't think pregnancy brain was real until I couldn't spell my own fucking name. My name is Amber. Amber. I couldn't remember how to spell my own fucking name. I'm 30 years old and I couldn't remember it. Couldn't fucking remember it. Can't remember. How the fuck you don't know how to spell your own name? That's exactly how I felt. Like, this shit is real. What the fuck? So at the end of the day, when we as a community, I'm not saying one person, when a lot of people, I read these comments under news stories and, oh, she's a horrible person, and it's like, okay, I understand what she did was fucked up. Don't get me wrong. When I say in my mind, I have to say that first before I forget to say it and somebody tries to look into my business. In my mind, I've done everything in a cartoon to my daughter in my mind. Have you heard of screaming baby? Have you been stuck in a car in Atlanta traffic with a screaming child because you can't quite get back there to check on them, and then you got a motherfucker honking behind you if you do, if you don't move your car exactly when the light changes because you're changing something. Like, you the type of motherfuckers that's gonna get it. Like, I'm doing something, I'm busy. You want me to scoot up 5 inches just for you? Shit has happened. That's the shit that makes people snap. And at the end of the day, when we're sitting here shaming these women over and over again, we're not giving a safe place for them to go, or for them to express that they're having a tough time. There are women who fart rainbows and baby unicorns fall out the sky and little fairies help them change shit diapers, and they love motherhood. Because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to have a fucking smile on your face when you're not sleeping at night, when your baby's colicking, screaming, when you changed a million diapers, when a babysitter cancels, when the grandparents are too busy, when, your girlfriends are going out for a night out and you can't, when your mate works too much and it's all you every day, when you haven't gotten any sleep at all. When you forget to fucking eat because you're too busy trying to figure out how to juggle new motherhood. Yeah, you can lose your mind. So we're shaming women. We're not giving them a safe place. The other thing I experienced is, yes, I was on Medicaid with my daughter. And I went to counseling before because this was the first time I was a mom. And she was a plan. She was not an accident. She was not a oops. Oh, my God. No. She was a plan, the best I could plan. And I went to counseling because I never had a child before, never been pregnant before, first time mom. I don't know what I'm doing. I know how to change diaper and to be a mother and do those physical things, but never had a baby before. So maybe just, let me get my mind together, right? That's not when I needed it. I needed it after. When I was losing my fucking mind, when people left my house and it was just me and this little vampire bully monster, baby boss, again. And, I'm like, oh my God, I'm back to being alone again. Isolation is another part of it. I did a postpartum video on my worst day on purpose to be that vulnerable and open to let people know this shit is fucking real. And another thing that I'm seeing, and I'm not going to say just other cultures, but there are a lot of cultures that are very masculine and feminine based when it comes to that separation of what your job is. Women, baby. Men, provide. And so a lot of times the men don't see any of the struggles that the women go through. They just, they proceed. Women don't talk to those men about it. Women don't discuss anything with those men about a bad day. If you had a nervous breakdown at 3 o'clock, by the time your husband is home, you need to have fixed your face, wiped your tears, and still made dinner. And the kids better be washed, fed, all that fun stuff. So the thought that you're having a tough time being a mother is like a disgrace. So a lot of people, a lot of that men-woman discussion never happens. So they, you don't have anybody to go to. Nobody believes you. And then you're not assisted the way that you would think that you would want to be, or getting that comfort in a way that you think you might want to be. So a lot of times, and of course there are men in the U.S. as well, but I've noticed with different cultures, there's very much a divide with that. Sometimes you have a lot of women that do help you. So, but that discussion never happens. You don't discuss what you went through with the baby, and because men just don't deal with the baby part of that. Their fathers, they provide, and that's to each his own. To every culture is their own. But I've really noticed that that's a lot of different cultures, and that's a man-woman divide. And so when you're looking for somebody to be sympathetic, be them masculine of any culture, they're looking at you like you're fucking nuts. I remember when I told her pediatrician I stopped breastfeeding because I had joint pain, and he's like, did your doctor tell you that? I think you should talk to your doctor about it. I'm like, motherfucker, I said so. I said the shit is over. I said I'm done breastfeeding at 6 months. Fuck you. Are they your titties? Are you attached to a machine twice a day? Do you have a little baby fondling your boobs at the wrong time of the day? Are you in constant joint pain to the point that your fucking knees are snapping? No. So shut the fuck up. I said I'm done. I'm done. But people just don't. I mean, it's just such. If you've never been through postpartum, if you don't have a child, if you are a man, you really have to take a leap of faith in believing that this is real. But when we keep shaming these women, you're going to keep seeing, and of course you're going to see it anyway, but you're going to keep seeing the abandonment of children, the murders of children and groups of kids. I remember the one story where the boy saved his brothers and sisters because he said, my mom is going to kill us. She's going to fucking kill us. Like, it's so sad that it gets to that point and that there's no help. And to go back, being on medical assistance was great, but what I really needed was aftercare. Like, mentally, my body was fucked up more after the baby. And again, if you're not the type of woman to run around and say, oh my God, I'm farting rainbows about this shit all the time. You know, we upload pictures, love my baby. I love my daughter. Love her. But the reality of it is having a baby does a lot to you mentally, emotionally, physically, financially. And when you go from, okay, well, I slept to I haven't fucking slept in a week because I'm on a constant cycle of feeding, you lose your mind. Plain and simple. And then to add to that, oh, I forgot to eat. And I'm stuck in traffic with a screaming baby. And I'm out of bottles. And, you know, the music is not loud enough. I'm about to go fucking crazy if this asshole behind me bonks one more time. Like, that's where your mind goes. And a lot of women are too prideful to ask for help. I understand that. But a lot of that also comes from the fact that we believe that mothers should do everything and should be capable of taking care of everything. And you don't need help. You're a mom. That's what you're built to do. It's just go ahead and do it. It's okay. It's not. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of stress. It's a big life change. Even if you're on your fourth child, it's your fourth child. And you got to figure out how to handle that. So when you see these stories of moms who have gone to the limit and have done something horrific to their child, I think two things. One, especially here in America, we sympathize about the wrong shit and we don't get ahead of a problem. We like to, publicly shame women. And then when these other women see, oh my God, is that how she got treated? Then when they go through something and they're on the verge of a breakdown, they don't say anything. And then you have another woman that does it. And then they get publicly shamed. And they're on the verge. And somebody else that's watching goes, well, if I'm having an issue, I'm not saying shit to anybody because, my mother just cussed out the TV. Or my husband said that woman was so fucking horrible. So when you have a bad day, you're not trying to check for any help. You're not trying to ask anybody for assistance. You're not trying to seem like you can't handle it. Or maybe your mom was amazing and you never saw her struggle or cry. And then you lose your mind and you think there's something wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with saying that I'm having a tough time. I'm overwhelmed. I need some help when you have a baby. I am okay with somebody saying that. I have homeboys who just had babies because they're my homeboys and I'm not, you don't do social events. You don't always get to meet their girlfriends or the mother of their child. But I'm like, I want to go help. Does she need any help? Because this shit is a lot of fucking work. She need a bottle of wine? Anything? Like, what can I do? Because you don't know what the fuck you're getting into. But on another note, and I'm going to end this. All you young girls out there, it's no age to say, you won't have postpartum or you won't have a tough time, because I didn't have my daughter till I was 30. I would have waited longer if I didn't have endometriosis. But you're younger, get a Plan B pill, get on birth control, use a condom. Because you think that babies are baby dolls and they're just cute. They're not. It's a lot of fucking work. So the younger you are, the more I even stress, don't fucking do it. Don't do it. I was never pregnant until I was pregnant. There's too many ways to prevent pregnancy at a young age. So please protect yourself. Do not get yourself into some shit that you are not ready to get into. And do not expect your parents to help you raise that child if you thought you were grown enough to spread your legs. So that's my PSA. Please stop shaming these women. Even when it happens, offer some empathy. I'm not saying that it's cool to kill babies. I know somebody's gonna take my words and try to twist them. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we need to start getting ahead of this problem. Offering a lot. I only found one support group, and then I had to cancel because I had my first period that night before I was supposed to get up early. And I didn't go. And I even wrote her back, and I never heard from her again. Like, yeah, this is when our next group is. So you have, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. You have one person that's trying to juggle a bunch of people with their own kids and might not have the time to juggle all of these women. So stop shaming these women, y'all. Postpartum is real. Postpartum depression is real. Postpartum psychosis is very real. You lose your fucking mind. Okay, hormonal changes are serious. You think a woman flips out once a month on her period? Try all those goddamn hormonal changes after having a baby, and they don't stop. They don't stop. No. Mm-mm. Lot of body changes. So please understand, shit is real. Stop fucking shaming these women. If you're having issues, ladies, please speak up. Say something to somebody. Say something to somebody so somebody assists you and helps you. For real. Don't stop. Don't feel ashamed. Say I need a timeout. I need a break. I need something. Cry for help. Call for help. Do what you need to do. But, you know, get some help before those kids get in harm's way. Now mine's up.